Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. I would like to begin by just thanking Foundation Board Member Elizabeth Gregory Reardon for opening her spectacular home, welcoming us, and the St. John's Foundation. And to the St. John's Foundation for their unwavering dedication to our fellowship programs. There is no greater honor or legacy than to train the next generation of clinical leaders and researchers. Coming from all over the country and the world, we have exceptional physicians who, for 1 to 2 years, are the engines of the St. John's Health Center. Every aspect of the hospital, from walking through those ED emergency department doors, of course through the surgery suite, to the wards, interacting with our incredible nurses, all of our caregivers, and every service, radiation to pathology. They drive the care in our hospital. Having a training program challenges us, the faculty, the physicians, to be the very best doctors and physicians that we can be, and always pushing us to provide the highest level of care based on evidence and innovation. All these fellows are trained because of philanthropy. Their range and numbers continue to increase. In addition to our flagship surgical oncology training program, we have our first surgical fellow graduating in our resurrected Breast Surgical Oncology program. Our Uro-oncology surgical program is going to be doubled in size. Sounds very dramatic. It's going from 1 to 2, but okay, it sounds a lot better, right? 100% increase. And our neurosurgical and laboratory science fellowships continue to round out just our excellence in care and innovation. As we grow these programs, I do want to impress that the financial need is great and it continues to grow. To our incredible donors, I think that there is no better way to see the impact of your giving than to watch these fellows. We carry them forward after they graduate into their careers, leading cancer programs nationally, presenting all over the world stage, and they carry the SJCI name with them throughout their successes. I want to take a moment to just say a few special thank yous to some supporters that have been particularly focused on our fellowship program. The Tarble Foundation for the creation of an endowment for fund our fellowship programs. The Harold McAllister Charitable Foundation. The John Wayne Cancer Institute Auxiliary. The Margie Peterson Breast Center Power of Pink Committee. The late Michael Sanz and the late Ruth and Martin Weil. They named our very first endowed fellow. Prior to her passing, Ruth annually hosted this event at her home, and the fellows and fellowship were her passion and her love child. I think if we could ask her now, Ruth would say she has the parental bragging rights of having raised dozens of great doctors. I am so happy that we are once again able to celebrate on an evening like this to come together to thank and honor both our fellows and the foundation and everyone who continues to support it. Please join me in toast to these amazing surgeons. May they go forth and end cancer. I now have the great pleasure to invite up Gretchen Willison, the chair of the Board of Trustees, who is going to give the invocation. Thank you so much.
You want me to turn that? There we go. It says right here, invocation, Gretchen Willison, 2 minutes. You can time me. So when I was asked to give the invocation today, I was really happy to do so. First, because I am the proud chair of the St. John's Health Center Foundation, a group of over 100 trustees and amazing staff that work every day for the singular purpose of supporting the hospital, supporting the health center, supporting every one of you. This afternoon, I'll share a reflection, not so much an invocation. Because an invocation, you're asking something. But a reflection, I'm thinking about all of us. I'm thinking about the people that are sitting here. You've been introduced to our hostess, Elizabeth Reardon. She joined the foundation not as long ago as I did, but a while ago. It's perfect that we're honoring our fellows at Elizabeth's home as she and her late husband, Dick, devoted their professional life and their philanthropic life to education. Elizabeth has been a blessing. Our foundation is a blessing to the hospital. The physicians who mentor and teach our fellows, they are a blessing. They share their time, their talent, they teach and they learn from the fellows. Our fellows are a blessing. They have the compassion to heal, the confidence and the intellect to achieve excellence. They have been a blessing to St. John's, and surely they will be a blessing to the communities they serve in the future. We as a group of people care about the health of our community. We care about the health of our fellow man. We are a blessing to those we serve. Embrace the blessing that you are, every single one of you. Be the light as only you can shine. Never go away from it. Walk right into it. There is a special power in each of us, but together we are an immeasurable blessing. God bless you all.
Good evening. For those of you who don't know, my name is Leland Foshag. I am the program director of the Surgical Oncology Fellowship program. I am old. I have been here since we actually began the Institute as an independent program after leaving UCLA with Dr. Morton and Dr. Giuliano back in 1991. At that time, we had a research-oriented fellowship where the fellows would be actually residents who would rotate for just 2 years during their residency and then go back and finish their training. Shortly after we came here, we actually became one of a dozen or less, I think it was 11 actually, nationwide surgical oncology certified training programs. At this point, it was all senior surgical oncologists. It was people who had finished their surgical residency and then went into oncology. My former mentor in the laboratory, Dr. Hoon, was instrumental and continues to be instrumental in working with our fellows to provide basic science and translational research opportunities throughout the programs. He has his own training folks, most of whom come from Asia, specifically Japan. Our program has trained over 150 senior surgical oncologists across the country who range in their practice from clinical practices in community settings all the way up to dean level type training. They oftentimes even have developed their own companies or in their own innovative projects through some of the research. It's an incredible program, and it is a true testament to the mission that Dr. Morton had, where he really recognized the importance of elevating the level of cancer care, improving the baseline quality of cancer care in many, many settings. He didn't, like some people, shy away from the community setting, saying, oh, no, this is just academics. He was very proud of having his fellows go into all different areas and encourage them to go to where they needed to be and wanted to be. I would like to initially thank my assistant program director and program coordinators, Dr. Fisher, Mark Badillo, who without their efforts, we wouldn't be here graduating this new group of fellows. So to start, the first fellow of the evening to be recognized is Dr. Laura Fluke, Lieutenant Commander, I believe.
Lieutenant Commander, not for long. Commander soon.
Commander soon. She gets a promotion once she finishes with us in about 2 weeks. She's with the U.S. Navy. She's going back to her position at Portsmouth. She came to us. She's an Oklahoma native, went to medical school there. Oh, no. But prior to joining us, she was at Japan for a couple of years and then was at Portsmouth after her residency and then came to us. She's been such a pleasure. She's going back to Portsmouth. They have a residency program, so she's going to be actively involved in teaching there. They're excited to have her come back. She's got an excellent position there. She's been such a great pleasure. She, her husband, and 2 girls.
Thank you.
She does party sometimes at the meeting.
Very rare. Very rare.
Every introduction.
Yeah. I would like to thank the foundation for organizing this event for us tonight. This is a celebration of our achievement, and we appreciate the effort that you all put in tonight. Thank you. I would also like to take a moment to acknowledge Ruth and Martin Weil, for whom I am their named fellow. I appreciate that their generosity provides us with enormous resources, so we appreciate that as well. I do have a couple of notes also. Party notes, yeah. I stand here today just filled with profound gratitude and humility. The last 2 years of surgical fellowship have been nothing short of challenging, but incredibly rewarding. I owe a debt of gratitude to all those who have participated in getting me here today, every step of the way. To my husband and beautiful girls, I thank you for your unwavering love and encouragement that supported me through all of the long hours and demanding days. I couldn't have done it without you. Oh, God. And and to the faculty, for your guidance has been invaluable. Your expertise, wisdom, and mentorship have shaped me into the surgeon that I am today. I'm deeply grateful for the opportunities you've provided and the knowledge that you have imparted. So thank you. And to my co-fellows, you've been my companions on this intense journey. Together, we have shared challenges and triumphs, and your camaraderie and support have been just a source of strength. So I am proud to have trained alongside such talented individuals. As I move forward in my career, I carry with me these lessons learned and skills and relationships forged during my fellowship. So thank you for believing in me and pushing me to the limit and being an integral part of my training. Thank you.
Thank you. We have appreciated you, for sure. Next up is Dr. Catherine Jackson. She's from Rochester, New York, a snowbird, so to speak. She trained at Dartmouth in medical school and finished her residency and said, I got to get out of Western New York. It's too much. She even had opportunities to go back on the faculty there, but chose to stay on the West Coast. She has been an exceptional fellow when it comes to working with our previous melanoma database. I know she's mad at me right now because I have a couple of papers that I have to get out with her before she goes in a few short 2 weeks. I was just read The Riot Act by Dr. Hoon a little while ago. To be honest, all of our fellows have been very, very accomplished in terms of their academics and research. They all have been presenting at national meetings. They've all had papers published in peer-reviewed journals. They are keeping the name of St. John's Cancer Institute, a small community private cancer institute, alive and thriving. And again, support of the foundation has a lot to do with that. Without ado, Catherine Jackson is going to be going as a faculty member up to Seattle, University of Washington. A very, very high-profile job. And we look forward to continue to collaborate with her. Catherine?
I don't get mad. I'm not mad. Yes, thank you to the foundation tonight. Always look for a great reason to celebrate, and it's so great being up here with my co-fellows. I'm very honored to be the Tarbell Foundation Endowed Fellow, so that's wonderful. Thank you so much for your support. And as Dr. Foshak mentioned, I'm going to the University of Washington, mostly for breast and skin oncology. I'm very, very grateful to this program for being centers of excellence in both of those fields. Being able to work with the MSLT databases, these multinational, multi-center databases, and working with the people who collaborated with John Morton, pioneering the sentinel lymph node biopsy that really changed the face of cancer care is an honor, and have loved working with that, and we'll continue to publish as soon as we all read the manuscript. Additionally, just learning from the national experts in various other techniques like oncoplastics has really been great, and I look forward to taking that to not only the care of the cancer patients in my future practice, but also teaching residents and medical students, and actually teaching my colleagues, because we really are taking these skills nationally to our peers, so that's really wonderful. Yeah, and thank you to the faculty and my co-fellows again. Like Laura said, has been one of the best parts of this program. I like having 3 mandatory best friends at all times, so it's been wonderful for me. Oh, from the beginning. Negata too. Because he's new today. We're very close. Okay, so after 9 years of training, I am very glad that St. John's was the final building block I know. So thank you all so much, and can't wait to see what our futures hold. Thanks.
Sorry, it's hard for me to keep them under control. It's been a rough for 2 years for both of us, hasn't it, Trevor? Yeah. Sometimes it's a little bittersweet as they graduate. Sometimes it's a little less bittersweet. No further comments. Next up is Dr. Janelle Sherry Millen. She is from Jamaica. She graduated from medical school at the University of Kingston in Jamaica. She completed her general surgical residency in Central Florida. She came to us and has been a star. She has completely shifted her focus away from what she was hoping to do, partly our fault, but has embraced the oncoplastic breast work and is going to the University of Nebraska, work with one of our former fellows, which again is a real benefit of having a long-term legacy with our fellowship, where there's always somebody looking for a job somewhere. May not be where you want it, but you at least get an interview. In Janelle's case, they were loved to have her come, and she's very much embraced and very much embedded to go into Nebraska. So, Janelle, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, all. I do want to start by saying thank you to the foundation for hosting this lovely event, and to Mrs. Reardon for hosting us in your home. It's really a great pleasure to be able to celebrate this momentous occasion with my colleagues. It is true what Dr. Foshak said. The past 2 years I was converted from my prior career plans to doing exclusively breast surgical oncology, which truthfully is a testament to the excellent training experience that I've had here and the amazing mentorship, not just from the breast team, but from the rest of our faculty. And because I don't want to call next weekend, I love Dr. Fisher. He's been amazing. And honestly, the entire team really has been great. They're on the hook, but I'm off. I do want to, again, use the opportunity to just say thank you so much to all of our faculty members, and not just the faculty within the surgical department, but even in the other specialties that we collaborate with and rotate through. Everybody has been very supportive. Of course, all of our faculty members couldn't be here this evening, and so, we'll have other opportunities to express our gratitude to them. But really, it's been an excellent opportunity training here, and I'm very grateful. I think we frequently describe the teaching, training, interaction as kind of being like a multiplier of skills, because you guys were trained by people, you've imparted those skills to us. We'll be going on to train other people, and so your skill set really is taking care of our future patients and the future patients of the other trainees whose education we're able to participate in, and I will be forever grateful for that. So thank you all so much. Thank you to the foundation, and I do want to also acknowledge the abundant generosity of the late Michael Sands, who supported our Cancer Institute in life and continues to do so with his generous donation. And so thank you all. Oh, and to my co-fellows, oh gosh. Yes, when Catherine said mandatory best friends, she meant it. The hangouts are mandatory, but they've been delightful. And honestly, colleagues, co-fellows, but truthfully friends going forward. Thank you all.
That certainly has been one of the real strengths of the program, the fact that we are one of the larger surgical oncology programs in the country, and we have multiple fellows each year. As you can tell, the camaraderie and relationships that are developed that carry on from that is unbelievable. There has been talk, because of some of the funding issues and such, that maybe we should perhaps downsize to less fellows and stuff. But I think that compared to many of the programs in the country that have 1 or 2 fellows, that's something that's very much missing. After training for so many years, the transition to a practice, the transition into a new specialty is incredibly beneficial to have peers that you can go to without worry of judgment and such, to really facilitate that transition movement. And that's one of those unanswered kind of things, in a sense. It's unrecognized in most of the programs, but it's clearly been a strength. Finally, for us, our 4th surgical oncology fellow. These fellows were all interviewed during the time of COVID. So we only got to see them on the computer screen. We did not realize that Dr. Sibia was so big. So for some of our smaller faculty, it's created a huge problem. They're like on multiple layers of steps just to be next to him in the operating room. But we've weathered that. Uday came to us after having completed his residency in Annapolis, Maryland. Prior to that, he had actually done an MBA at Johns Hopkins. So his interest is very much in healthcare economics and health policy. Pursuant to that, he's had a couple of publications that we've done that he presented at the American College of Surgeons, one on the unsustainability of the Medicare payment structure for physicians, where we continue to lose financial money every year and have for 20 years, and the fact that he's done quite a bit of work with global payments that affect hospital and hospital costs and charges. Pursuant to that, he's been able to get a position in the University of Alabama system in Mobile, where he actually has a concurrent medical director as a physician liaison for the medical group to work on their bundle payments, which is really a passion for him to work forward. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Dr. Sibia and congratulate him on his accomplishments both now and the future.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Foshak, for those kind words. I'd like to thank everybody, of course, our host, for celebrating us in the program at such a beautiful location. Thank you so much for having us. I'd also like to thank the McAllister Foundation for my, of course, fellowship position, and all my faculty, even those that had to bear with me on several steps. My back and neck, thank you. And of course, we love you, Dr. Fisher. So that's for my call weekend. But in all seriousness, thank you so much. I've been very lucky to be part of this program, have amazing co-fellows, absolutely amazing attendings, very supportive in all the wild things I've asked of them. They've been very, very supportive and got me to actually do most of the things I wanted to. So thank you. I'm very glad to be here, and thank you for today.
Finally, I would like to sincerely thank Ms. Reardon and the hosting for our program here that we used to have at Ruthie Wiles prior to the pandemic, and to restart this part of our fellowship, which I think has been something missing over the last few years, the recognition within both the community of the hospital and the foundation, but also for the fellows to see how much they are appreciated and how much effort is put into supporting the program at the Institute. All of the foundations, the Tarbell, the McAllister, Michael Sands, and of course, Ruthie Weil and such, without them, we wouldn't be able to function. Of not lessened, but smaller donations frequently is our patients. Our patients are very, very appreciative, and we continue to get support from them, sometimes in very small dollar amount, but nothing is more indicative of the quality and the care that's provided than a patient coming back who has cancer, who's willing to donate to the foundation, to the hospital, and to the Institute. So with that, I will conclude my portion and introduce Dr. Barkadarian, who is with the Pacific Neurosciences Institute, really has elevated and continues to elevate the care of neurosurgery and cancer. He runs skull-based labs. They have their own fellowship, as he will talk about. It's been such a pleasure working with Garni throughout the years. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Foshak. Thank you for the kind introduction. And first of all, I'd like to thank Ms. Reardon and to the foundation for putting together such an amazing event. Also, congratulations to the fellows that are here. 1 or 2 years, it's just an amazing run, but I'm glad you guys are done and you can go to the real world and actually make an impact in this world. So I have the distinct honor and privilege of presenting our fellowship program and our fellow. Our fellowship program is quite precocious in that we graduate our fellow 1 month earlier and we send him off. And so unfortunately, our fellow could not be here for this event. We've actually had a long-lasting legacy of fellowship training as well in the neurosciences. So it's the minimally invasive and endoscopic Neurosurgical Fellowship program, but it really is a brain tumor, brain cancer fellowship program. That's really what we do, and that's why it jives very well with the St. John's Cancer Institute and all the strong work that we've seen with our faculty here and the researchers that we've worked with. I think we're on our 15th fellow, And as Dr. Foshak had mentioned, our fellows have also gone on to running their own programs, becoming chairs in their programs, and continuing the work that we do in the type of surgery that we offer in minimally invasive approaches to the skull base and different aspects of managing brain tumor and brain cancer patients. So I'd like to present Dr. Khan. And you can't see him, but his picture's right here in the program. And he is also as tall as Uday is. So you would have seen him about this tall here. I'm glad he's not here so I don't inflate his ego. So as I mentioned, all of the great things he's done. Dr. Khan actually came from Chicago and did his medical school at the State University of New York in Brooklyn. And then went to University of California, San Diego, UCSD, where he did his residency program. He wasn't quite content, and so he did an infolded fellowship at that time in Arizona with one of our colleagues, Peter Nakaji, and then realized that he wanted to do a full year fellowship. So then he came to us for a formal outside unfolded fellowship in our program. They say the mark of a good fellow is that they leave the program better than they came in with. And truly, Dr. Khan did that. He came in amazingly trained, he had great hands, and continued to learn our philosophy of surgery. He actually, it doesn't say on the program, he actually came in with a PhD, and he had a lot of experience and knowledge in some of the biostatistical and big data type approaches in medicine. So it was great to have him with that perspective in the research projects that we do and the studies that we conduct. And he leaves our program both surgically and from a research perspective in a stronger state. Some of you may know Amin Kassam. Amin was here, I think, around 2010 at St. John's, and he actually was the impetus to help us move into the endoscopic world when it came to that type of approach. Since then, Amin has left and he's now in Chicago, and he also embraced the privatemic model that we have here at the St. John's Cancer Institute and Pacific Neuroscience Institute. And Dr. Khan is joining Dr. Kassam there to continue the work that he's worked with us here and to work with Dr. Kassam. And we wish him very best of luck in his career. We know that he's going to impress many, and we look forward to seeing him on many stages with all the great work that he's done. So congrats, Dr. Khan. So with that, I'd like to invite Dr. Janie Grumley, the director of the Breast Surgical Oncology Program, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Grumley.
All right, no more tall people, so we can move this down a little bit. So definitely want to thank Mrs. Reardon for having this beautiful event. This is truly amazing. It's probably more special for me just because this is a very special evening for us. We've had a long tradition of having a Breast Surgical Oncology Fellowship here since Dr. Giuliano, but before I came here, that program had closed. So there was no breast fellow when I showed up. So when I interviewed here, one of the first things was, when are you going to open up a breast fellowship? So I remember interviewing with many people within the foundation, both at the John Wayne and St. John's, and that was always the first question in their mind. When are we going to revive this breast program? I told them 5 years. Give me 5 years, and we will build something that will become a breast fellowship, and I've done it. Check. We really couldn't have done it without the support of St. John's Health Center. They've been so supportive in giving us the resources we need, hiring the faculty members that we needed to build this program, but also the foundation. We really couldn't have done this without foundation support. Kim is here today, who is one of the chairs of the Power of Pink. We've had 2 luncheons now, which has been an amazing event, which has raised over $750,000, which is truly just mind-boggling. And it has allowed us to bring Nikatai on as our very first breast fellow. Nikatai comes from Oregon, and she did her medical school at Tufts. And then I first met Nikatai when she was a very young, bright-eyed intern. We were at Virginia Mason together, and I remember one of the more senior residents pulled her over and said, you know, Dr. Grumley does oncoplastic surgery. We have this paper we want to write.
you're a medical illustrator. Let's have you kind of work together. So we started working together, and her artistic ability was just truly amazing and really helped us. And I guess we must have made an impression, because by the time she became a senior resident, I got an email out of the blue going, I think I want to be a breast fellow now. And things just kind of fell into place, and we were more than happy to have her come and join us. And she has been truly amazing as our first fellow, and we're so proud of her. Even just today in clinic, she saw a patient in our breast health clinic for an issue. She worked her up and then saw us for cancer care. And I think the patient would have been fine with her or me. It didn't really matter. We're so in love with her that we wanted to actually keep her. So she will be actually joining our program as our breast surgeon over at Burbank, and we could not be happier to keep her within the family. She's going to help us train our next generation of fellows. So please help me welcome Nikitai Handy.
Okay, so I don't even know where to begin, honestly. This feels like the most amazing final moment of my surgical training. I really want to thank Dr. Grumley and Dr. Fancher for taking a chance on me and having me be your first Breast Surgical Oncology Fellow. I feel like the stars aligned for me to end up here, because not every breast fellowship offers what I was able to learn here. The breast fellowship here has a heavy emphasis on oncoplastics and really a lot of shared decision-making with our patients. And I don't think I would have wanted to do just any breast fellowship. I wanted to do your breast fellowship. And so I feel extremely honored to be your first breast fellow. And even more honored that I get to stay on and keep working with you guys and bring the research abilities and collaborative nature from St. John's out to Burbank. And I also am super happy that I get to keep teaching the next generations of fellows as I get to kind of pass it forward, like we mentioned up here before. So, everyone at the Margie Peterson Breast Center, the CGSO Fellowship, and faculty, everyone's been so warmly receptive of me coming here. I kind of felt like the new kid showing up. And I mean, what everyone's mentioned before, where you have these built-in meaningful friendships that start essentially as soon as you're part of the crew, I felt like I was warmly embraced and immediately brought into the fold by this class of the CGSO fellows and also the current first years, rising second years. So I do feel like I had a really warm community support from everyone that I've met here. Thank you to the foundation for enabling my fellowship to even exist. Thanks a lot. I'm, again, super lucky to have been so, I don't know, it just feels different when you feel like your position comes from the people who can value what our faculty have to teach us. And I thank you for seeing that. I thank you for helping enable the education that I'm able to be a recipient of and now a participant of. None of these people are here, but I have to thank my husband and my parents and my 3 brothers, and also my dog, who, she's the only one who moved down to LA with me while everyone else is still up in Seattle. So she really kept me sane while I was just like alone in my little apartment here. But yes, I'm incredibly honored, and thank you all very much.
All right, so I'm neither Dr. Tim Wilson or Dr. Jennifer Linehan, but they both are unable to be here. I think Jen's probably on her 7th case of the day and will go late into the night. But we did want to just recognize their fellowship program as well. Dr. Wilson, when he came, had a desire to start the training program that he participated in at City of Hope and recruited a really great faculty, some of which are here, Dr. Twardowski, Dr. Movasagi, to really round out that experience. And I believe they're on their 7th or 8th fellow, 9th, yeah. I knew it was getting there. I'm getting old, so sorry, excuse me. But their fellow that graduated this year also graduated at the end of July and is in June. Our fellows graduated in July. Promise I just had a little bit of the whiskey. And I'm not on call. His name is Dr. Josh Gottlieb. He's actually joining a practice in Simi Valley, and I think will do really great things. Had spent 2 years here doing some research with Dr. Hoon and the team, and was just really well respected. And I think we'll do great things. So just a round of applause for the Urology Fellowship. For me, I was asked to give closing remarks, and I think I realized as I'm sitting here listening to the faculty speak, to the comments from the fellows, it's really hard to speak at the end of an event because many of the things that you would have said have already been said, and it's obviously cliche to say, ditto. But I really want to, I want to thank, first of all, the foundation and Mr. Morton. This is a really remarkable event to have. Again, it's sort of that culmination of so many, graduations that the fellows have had, right? From kindergarten all the way up. This will be, for most of them, probably their last graduation, I think. I mean, you never know, but it really. No, it really does. This event showcases the support, and I think the uniqueness that our program offers our trainees. A small feeling, right? We're at the home of a donor and a very wonderful family. That this doesn't happen in many of the other programs that where our fellows could have easily matched to and trained. And I think that sense of family, that sense of warmth, I think will just continue to show in the way they treat patients moving forward. There is a camaraderie that we have that I think is really, really unbreakable. I still, I failed to mention, I graduated from this program in 2017, and Dr. Gordon mentioned Ruth Weil's. I was the inaugural Ruth Weil Fellow and still feel very honored to be that, and I'm happy that we can continue that with our trainees. But the mentorship that you get continues beyond graduation. I still get calls from fellows who do the same thing, or a text, hey doc, do I need to do this or that? And it's one of the things that really keeps us going. I think obviously training fellows is an enjoyable experience on most days, and some days. But I really, it's just a wonderful experience and a culmination of all the support the foundation has given us through the years. And I want to congratulate you all for graduating, and we wish you well in the future. And again, it's a open door, open phone policy for all of us. And with that, I would like to close my remarks, but I'd like to introduce Cheryl Bourgeois, the President and CEO of the Foundation.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Fisher and Dr. Foshag and Dr. Bakadarian, Dr. Grumley. And I want to especially thank Dr. Grumley because we had a great conversation. Gretchen Willison is the chair of the foundation, and I had a meeting with Dr. Grumley a few weeks back, really. It wasn't that long ago. And she reminded us of this event that was annually hosted by Ruthie. And she said, yeah, but we don't do it anymore. And Gretchen and I said, why? Why? And so we immediately decided we were going to do it. So thank you for inspiring us, because it's so nice to have everybody together. And I want to mention one person who hasn't gotten introduced yet, and that just shows the significance of this special evening. And that is the chair of the Health Center Board. Laura Syart is also here. We give a wave. And I want to thank everyone that joined us here tonight to celebrate and to honor these amazing graduates. I mean, I don't think we have any doubt that you're going to go on to great, great success. The amount of degrees collectively that you hold. When somebody said maybe this will be the last graduation, I'm not quite sure, because knowing you certainly are overachievers, I think. But it's such a pleasure to be able to join together and to honor just the immense time and energy you've put into your career so far. So congratulations. And a lot of people have been very gracious to congratulate or to thank the foundation. And as the representative for tonight's event for the foundation, I just want to say how much of a privilege and honor it is to serve St. John's Health Center. You know, and I want to underline it, that fellowships like this, the research that's being done by the colleagues that you've heard from, and Dr. Tardowski and Dr. Hoon, that doesn't happen at a lot of community hospitals. I mean, I think we just need to punctuate that one more time. We talked about privatemic, but that doesn't happen many places. You know, it's very common to see these kinds of things at a UCLA or at a big, you know, state institution, academic institution. It's not that common at a place like St. John's. But I think that also underscores just how distinctive and how special St. John's is. So I just want you all to know how proud I am that we could be here together. I want to see this grow. Because as Dr. Foshag said, we have 150 some graduates out there reflecting credit on St. John's, spreading the good word of the work that's done at St. John's. And we've had the benefit of having a graduate and now another graduate stick around and help us train the next generation. But it's just another symbol of how impactful St. John's is, well beyond our community, you know, around the nation, around the world. So, and that would not have been possible. None of this would have been possible without philanthropy. And you've heard the names of the foundations, you know, mentioned many times, and I thank you for that. I know that would be very meaningful to all of those people. And I want to, again, thank Kim Craver-Lee, who's representing the entire committee for the Power of Pink, and hopefully everybody will join us in September. But it would not be possible without philanthropy. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of the foundation for your continued support and energy to make this kinds of efforts possible at St. John's. And I have to end by, again, thanking Elizabeth Gregory Reardon. As you did hear, you may not have heard that she was the admissions director at Harvard Westlake for how many years, Elizabeth? 50? 50 years. So talk about a multiplier effect. I can't imagine how many kids you were responsible for. But for those of you who don't know, Elizabeth's late husband, Mayor Richard Reardon, and the Reardon Foundation continues to dedicate much of its resources to education. So I do think it's completely apropos and perfect that we're here together celebrating education and the value it is to our community. So with that, thank you for being here. Stick around. There's plenty of refreshments. And thank you again for coming.